Welcome to Blood, Sweat, and Fears number 5, an annual tradition here at World Wrestling in the UAW Hall, and one of my favorite nights of the year, Spin the Wheel Challenge. You never know what's going to happen.
As a manager, I hate this night. My clients could be going up against anything. It could be a handicap match the way this wheel is set up. Tag team champions could go against each other. My war champion could go against some guy who doesn't even remotely deserve a chance at that title. That's why tonight sucks.
Comes to the spin the wheel.
Hey. So we got the spin the wheel challenge again, huh?
Yeah, and you know what? If we haven't done enough to prove that it doesn't matter who we face, when we face them.
And here's the thing about
Hey. So that means that you could defend your tag team titles at random.
At random, just like you've been defending your heavyweight title against mystery opponents every single month.
Is that
No
how
respect.
a company
and the Dirty gets no respect from it.
Is that how a company treats champions? I guess that's how War does it, but
yeah.
Luckily, we are the champions. And it doesn't matter who we face. It doesn't matter if they get it at random or if we have time to prepare. It always ends the same, right?
We
Us
dominate.
on top. Right, Hybrid?
Yes. I smell a tournament. There's my guys. There's my guys. I should probably let go.
Adios. So it didn't take very long for River Blackheart to adios, and we knew that was coming at some point, but apparently the entire Dirty now decided that they have something to say. Fans don't like them. Yeah, because that's one thing that Big Tom is known for, taking threats very well. I don't feel like this is going to end very well for the Dirty. And there's a pretty good reason why. Brandon Edwards returning now, trying to take out the entire Dirty, and Austin Mannix in the corner. Mannix, of course, just like the Dirty normally does, wants nothing to do with anybody, once it's a fair fight.
Hey, you want to know what a real family is about? You come join the Dirty.
there's not a real good choice here for Brandon Edwards. Either join the dirty or fight the dirty.
Very good points. Point one. I never see one hair package, one box addressed from War Wrestling. Number two, I got many addressed from the dirty. So, well, that's telling me not only did War Wrestling turn their back on a soldier, but a man, you turned your back on that flag and I blame you. So you know something?
Oh, come on.
They got a family, the only family that I know that swings in the ring right now.
Well, that's an unfortunate turn of events. The dirty continues to grow in numbers, and I guess Ripper continues to make more money. Neither one of those things are good. However, I think that there's a couple of guys who are going to have something to say about that, and, well, one of them's got a chair, and it's Brian Beach. My. Look how quickly the world has turned. That, my friends, is what you call an ovation.
Hey, Brandon Edwards. This is gonna be solely directed to you, you piece of shit. Hey, this ain't gonna be a PG show when you turn your back on the one person that hurt your ass back. I may never sent you a care package when you was over there fighting for our country, and I respect that. But the bottom line is, my company, War Wrestling, contributes to the Veterans Food Pantry every single damn month. But we're gonna call a spade here. All you're gonna be in the dirty is their little bitch boy. Guess what? I got a phone call from one of the War Originals. Bad attitude Brian. And he told me, he let me in on a little secret. He said, you know what, Big Tom? I'm one of the War Originals. I may not always be there, but I'll always be a War Original. Hey, Brandon, listen. When you was fighting for our country, you still wasn't a War Original. But I'm gonna call a spade here. You guys want this belt? You're gonna have to earn it. Oh, okay. Well, here, we're going to do this right here like this. You want to come get it, bring your ass in this ring and come get it.
Let me get this straight. So the respect title is in the middle of the ring. Brian Beach, super kick and chair. I don't think so. I don't think the dirty comes away with his belt. I'm probably going to put my money on Brian Beach. Strength in numbers is a heck of a thing. However, not when it's Brian Beach on the other end.
I love you too, man. So mission still sucks.
Well, it is 7:19. It was time for that check. Oh, and a big statement from Big Tom.
Don't talk about your wife like that, boy. I see you are. Look how ugly you are. Hey, when we came here to watch We're going to spin that wheel. The first 6 names on it, on that wheel, the first 6 are going to be defending, are going to be the crown of the new champion right here, right now. Oh, by the way, Jake, and guess what? That even means one of your own guys going to get that defending the belt against you.
Okay. It's that kind of show.
You guys go to the bed, have your circle jerk, and get the hell out of here.
The money's in the account, so that's all good. I'll finally, I can get rid of this. That's one less thing I got to worry about. Just got to wait on to pick it up. Here we go. How you doing, sir?
Good, Ripper. How are you?
Yeah, everything clear, everything's good. The money's in the account.
I told you the money was there. I had it. I'm worth every dime, I think.
And you know what comes with this, right? You understand the power and responsibility of this thing.
Believe me, I understand the power that comes with it. See, I got big plans, and this is a big part of it. What I need to know from you, I need you to guarantee me this thing works, right?
Oh, it works.
100%.
If it wasn't for this, that ring announcer would have been dead years ago. It works. This will control them, except for feeding time. It gets a little rough. They're eating me out.
I got a guy to help me out with that.
See, I'll show you. Beast. See? It's all yours, brother.
Some of the best money I've ever spent. We got some good plans with this thing, my brother.
Good luck with that.
Uh-oh. Speaking of guys that there's no way that you can prepare for before one of these shows, it's that guy right there in Coy
This
Sampson.
guy is nuts. This guy is a few fries short of a Happy Meal, putting it lightly.
Fans are enjoying it. He always puts on a good performance whenever he comes out. Kind of the consummate underdog, but always a big game fighter. And I think this kind of match really suits a guy like him because...
Yeah, because it's nuts, and so is he.
Well, he can just go after everyone is what I was trying to say.
Look at this guy. I wouldn't want to meet him in a well-lit alley.
I don't want to know where you're at. You're in a bunch of alleys. Coy's happy to be here, and so he is 1/6 of this match for the Respect title to crown the new Respect champion. Of course, floated back and forth in the last 6 months between Zach Spades. Orlando Christopher has held it at one time, and a lot of talent across the Midwest.
Who we beat up pretty good for it.
Again, strength in numbers. Matt Taylor was a fine Respect champion.
Whatever. Until my guy came along and beat the Jesus out of him.
Now I kind of hope that none of the names of the Dirty come up in this match.
No dirty. It's going to land on number 14, the Beast.
Uh-oh. Beast is another guy. This
is a new guy to war. Not new to wrestling, but new here. And if George Animal Steel and Mad Dog Buzz Sawyer had a baby, you would get the Beast.
Well, and Beast is a guy who, well, he's not going to be the most technical guy that you're going to see throughout the course of this show, but I'm interested to see just the two of these guys that are going to be in the ring in a second between Beast and Coy Sampson go at it. And then, of course, if you look at the Heavy Metal Viking and Mr. Hooks right behind him, that's a guy with this kind of match that can prove big dividends because there's no rules.
Yeah. And speaking, I just conducted some business with Mr. Hooks backstage before the show tonight.
Nefarious, I'm sure.
Oh, you'll find out tonight.
Well, it looks like I'm going to find out right now.
So, this is War Wrestling, huh? My name is Hooks, the Heavy Metal Viking. You know, one of the reasons I wanted to come to War Wrestling Because I heard that War Wrestling had the best fans around. Well, I think they told me wrong, because it looks like War Wrestling has the ugliest fans around.
He is right. I have to agree with you. I've been to other places, and these people are by far the ugliest.
War Wrestling has the dumbest fans around.
Wow.
Once again, yes. I asked them to spell USA earlier. They couldn't do it.
This man right here, this man is part of my plan for War Wrestling. And believe me, I've got big plans for War Wrestling. And they start with this man from Skull Island. Accept no substitutes. Everybody back here tonight's going to be a sacrifice. Except 0 substitutes, because this man is the one and only true beast in professional wrestling.
See, look at him. There's no other beast that's got that mane.
Well, not really. Hook's ingratiating himself with these fans, and even more so when, it's easy to say things when you carry a big stick.
And you know how to use it.
That too. If there's one thing that we know about Hooks,
He knows how to use it.
is that he likes to fight. I mean, you know he's not got to be, he's not afraid of much if he's wearing the Faces of Fear on the back of the jacket.
No.
Also, not many times, he's a very big human being. Not very many times that a guy will bring a manager that is bigger than he is to the ring.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, Hooks stands head and shoulders by himself.
Uh-oh.
Oh, look out for all the illegitimate children to rush the ramp.
Still having that problem with Dusty. I'm not sure how you can continually hate on a guy who does nothing but go out of his way to make these people happy and continues to put on great matches, and he has been for years since this company started.
Could have stopped that because he continues to try to make these people happy. That's a reason enough to hate him. These people, why do these people deserve to be happy?
I'll tell you what.
Never done nothing.
So far of the 3 in the match, I don't know that he wouldn't be the favorite.
He definitely has the most experience.
He might have just as many years by himself as those 2 and Coy Sampson and Beast do combined. So halfway through the list of competitors in this match. Again, match number 1 here at Blood, Sweat, and Fears 5.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Sweet Wheel. And the next contestant is Aaron's Cody Hawk.
Uh-oh. There's your experience right there.
Now you got 2 vets in there.
Cody Hawk, the independent icon, number 4 in this match. Just recently had one of those matches where you don't get very often. He, Shark Boy, Nate Matson, all in the same match in a 4-way up in Michigan. And, that right there's 100 collective years of experience.
And Cody Hawk never has held a title here at War Wrestling, although he has chased it many a time. He has chased the tag titles. He's chased the heavyweight title.
And
always so close, but not quite.
Another guy, too, that, speaking of chasing the tag titles, that you've had run-ins with many a times over the years.
Oh, I know Cody Hawk quite well.
So the youthful exuberance between Coy Sampson and Beast and the veterans in Dusty Dillinger and Cody Hawk. Still 2 more names to add to this match before we get started in the Spin the Wheel Challenge.
This is Alex. Alex, go ahead and get this spin.
We have the big spin.
I gotta go.
Oh, and now the dirty
Former champ.
Possibly a chance at being the current champion. Orlando Christopher back here, and there goes Ripper. So Orlando, like he said, a former champion, of course, lost to Zach Spades, now making up 1/6 of this match. And who's going to be the last guy kind of be apropos if it ends up being another member of the Dirty, because they wouldn't have 1/3 of a chance of winning this match. But with the guys that are in this match, I'm not quite sure that that is a foregone conclusion. Dusty Dillinger and Cody Hawk, they pretty much wrote the book on tricks, and neither one of them like any members of the Dirty very much, especially not the guys, or the guy, I should say, representing Orlando, Christopher.
It's okay, kid. It's okay. You can be nervous. It's Amanda up there.
I'm just hoping that throughout the course of this match, somebody just puts Ripper down. Make him the 6th participant.
And it lands on Brandon Edwards.
Oh, and Brandon Edwards. So Ripper's plan did work out. The Dirty ends up getting 2 chances to win this match, and the newest member of the Dirty, that's the opening of this show. He threw down the shirt that he had on it, probably proclaiming veteran on the back of it, and he will join his Dirty stablemate in Orlando, Christopher. But you can't look at it as a tag match. They'll obviously work together for a little bit, but we'll see exactly how long that will last. So, you know, one of the matches later on, whenever it is that Jake Something is picked on the wheel throughout the course of this show, he will have a special guest referee on the opposite side of the ring in Bad Attitude Brian Beach. And those are guys that have no love lost for one another, not just tonight, but the last couple of years. And it's going to make for an interesting dynamic as Jake Something over 400 days as the War Wrestling Champion. See how this one goes, and this is just a humongous way to kick off the show. A lot of matches between now and January as we come back here to be a part of the lights, bring the lights to this building, and then, of course, in February, the anniversary show. But this one starting off hot and heavy. Nick Hahn, now, good idea for you to get away from the ring.
I tell you what, when I saw Beast, I wanted to get as far away from the ring as I possibly could.
Just Beast? I would have wanted to get away from Hooks.
It's like a package deal with those guys.
Neither one. Neither one of them is real sane. Quickly squaring off with half of the Dirty that's in this match, in Orlando Christopher and Coy Sampson. Coy with that unorthodox version of a hip toss and out arm drag right into the drop kick, and down goes Christopher. Coy going for the cover. I can't believe I'm saying this, but smart cover by Coy Sampson as he realized, hey, the ring is empty. Let me try and win this one early.
Beast and Cody Hawk squaring off in there now.
Hawk now the veteran, over thousands of matches in his career, as he gets the big kick right to the debuting Beast's face. Clothesline, he goes for the cover, just a quick one.
Beast looks like one tough customer, Michael.
Yeah, I don't know that Ripper said it about somebody else. I wouldn't want to fight him in a lit alley. I just wouldn't want to fight the guy.
I would prefer it being dark that way. I wouldn't have to look at him.
I would prefer him not see me and I could just run away.
Man.
Huge side slam by Beast on Cody Hawk, but just a 2 count. The experience in this match, Dusty and Cody, of course, and then a lot of relative newcomers in terms of guys 10 years or less in the other 4, but smart, and you can already see that pitbull mentality that the Dirty used to recruit Brandon Edwards is paying off.
What a good acquisition for the Dirty, too. I mean, I don't respect the way he went about his business right there, but what an acquisition for them.
Yeah, talent-wise, there's not a lot of guys in this company and probably in the Midwest better than that guy. Dusty looking for the headbutt. Loves to end or goes for the elbow. Never know what he's going to do.
This could be it.
Right to the heart of Edwards, and there you go.
That's the trouble with the 6-man match is, it's so hard to put all the guys away to get a pinfall in there without someone breaking it up.
Well, and it's that odd thing, too, of normally you get the tag team match where with the Dirty of, okay, I have one guy who's going to come break this up at all times. But now you have the other 4 who don't want you to win. Well, Dusty in a world of trouble, of course. More interesting, too, because you not only have the 6 guys in this match, but you also have the 2 guys in Hooks and Ripper on the outside. And with no rules, that can really come into play when you have 3.
I wonder how soon the Dirty are going to start teaming up, maybe take out these guys one by one.
Well, they really worked together there on that pin attempt, but wow. Good night, Brandon Edwards. He's going to have to go get checked, make sure his collarbone isn't broken after that clothesline. And here's the one that interests me most about this group, the squaring off between Cody Hawk and Dusty Dillinger. And Ripper alluded to it. Cody hasn't had a title in War, but what an opportunity it would be for him to knock off one of the long mainstays in Dusty to win this match and that belt.
We got two guys in the ring right now, Dusty and Cody. They're not going to get caught up in the moment. Like nothing's going to scare them or scare them away at all.
Well, speaking of scaring small children, here comes the other half of the Dirty. Orlando Christopher, and now Coy Sampson fighting off over to our left. Everybody else just kind of standing around watching as Christopher admired his handiwork on his way out.
Action all over the building here, Michael.
Wow. And Dusty.
Hopefully they beefed up security here for tonight.
Yeah, Dusty sent to the floor. Orlando just stalking around the outside of the ring. And Cody Hawk in control, but it almost doesn't do you any good to fight in the ring. You can't get counted out. Just do as much damage and hope that you can find an opening for 3 seconds. Dusty just lit up the chest of one of the guys on the outside. Cody Hawk, big back body drop from Beast. Now Coy Sampson going to work. Everybody teeing off on whoever they can find. Beast and Brandon Edwards up near the ring. Coy Sampson fighting with Orlando Christopher. And he just banged him shoulder first off the post.
Is that Beast in there directing traffic?
Yeah, I didn't think I would see that.
I would think he'd be like a strategist in any way.
Age-old thing, though, with these matches. Yeah, it looks good when a guy is out there helping you, but wait 2 seconds and see if when you're one-on-one, he doesn't try and nail you when your back is turned.
Well, I think Beast's the wild card because there's probably not a whole lot of film these guys have seen on this man.
Plus, again, Hooks is a very large man, and he's over there carrying a very big wooden stick.
They're just threatening the fans all before the match.
Snap suplex from Edwards as he goes for the cover on Dillinger, only with a 2 count. Orlando Christopher has found his way back in. 5 out of the 6 men.
What a crowd we have on hand here tonight, Michael.
Yeah, they really have turned out, and Ripper doesn't seem to like it because obviously we talked about he doesn't like his guys not knowing who they're facing. But for my money, one of the best events of the entire calendar year because you never know what you're going to see with that wheel.
But he's got to like it that 2 of his men got drawn for this match. I mean, how lucky could he be for that?
Edwards rolls up Christopher. He hooked the leg and he put his foot in the ring or in the ropes, and I think he just won. I don't think anybody else knew about it either. So Brandon Edwards is the winner of this match, and how about that? Night number 1 in the Dirty, and, well, he did his partner dirty. Ripper's got the belt in his hand. So like it or hate it, match number 1 here in War Wrestling in Blood, Sweat, and Fears 5 as Brandon Edwards walking out with the Respect Championship that started off the night in the hands of Zach Spades, who was stripped of it. Dusty is irate. Everybody else doesn't exactly know what was going on, but referee clearly didn't see Edwards had leverage on the ropes. And now Dusty right in the face of Jake Something, and here comes his running buddy in Austin Mannix. Not a good position for Dillinger as he, Cody Hawk, and Coy Sampson face off with the Dirty. And now here we go. One thing Dusty's never going to back down from is a fight. And he's doing it right here as all hell has broken loose. Kind of an impromptu 6-man. They rang the bell trying to get these guys to stop, but those guys don't really care. As now they square off, and the Dirty seems to be getting the better end of it as they beat down Dusty in the corner. Orlando Christopher is across the way, and he still seems to not know what's going on as he's being consoled by Jake Something. The Dirty hold court. There you see one half of the tag champs in Austin Mannix, the War Wrestling champion, in Jake Something, and the new Respect champion. Kind of laugh at how that worked out. in Brandon Edwards. Oh, come on. It's not bad enough that these guys have every belt in this promotion. Now we got to sit through this nonsense. Look at the one guy, though, that does not look thrilled about this. It's Orlando Christopher. Oh, come on. What kind of champion is that guy? I mean, really. And a huge black hole slam just for good measure, and I guess the champ's going to tell us why.
You know who I am. I'm the goddamn champion.
Obviously, a little bit of language from the champion. Oh, now to make the save, here comes Cody Hawk with the equalizer. He, Coy Sampson, and Dusty Dillinger. And I don't know that this is the last that we've seen of this group. There's a fan in the front row that just threw his T-shirt at the War Wrestling champion and Jake something. And what's amusing about it is the fact that it was the dirty T-shirt that he threw at him. Well, that's one way to do it. If this is how this show's going to start, imagine how it's going to end. The Voodoo King from New Orleans, Louisiana, and Mojo McQueen. And I tell you what, I hope Jimmy sold a lot of merchandise because unfortunately, he might need it to pay for his hospital bill.
Oh, this guy is vicious.
6'2", 240 pounds. The big.
I caught him up in Michigan, and he made people scream. Just the sight of him made people scream.
Where is he? The lights are on. Jimmy Shane in the ring in the bright gold boots, waiting on his opponent in Mojo McQueen. Seems to be taking his time wherever that he might be. Oh, and what is in the box?
What's in the box?
If it's a severed head, I'm going to be very upset.
It's smoking. There's smoke coming out of the box. There's smoke coming out of the box.
Oh, man. Jimmy has this look on his face right now like, what am I doing here? Imagine this. You're Jimmy Shane. They spin the wheel. You think it might be Heather Owens. It might be Jake something. It might be one of those boys in the back. And now you look out, and this is what you see.
I want to know, what is that smoke?
I don't know, but it's permeating the entire arena, and it
smells like death.
Is that what death smells like?
Yes.
Oh. I figure you would know.
I know, because we murder people in the ring.
Like Joe Kopez he was trying to brush away the smoke. That box is just laying.
Yeah, Joe Kopez. Well, he was trying to brush away smoke. He was inhaling an awful lot.
Stop it. It's just in the middle of the ring. Mojo is around the outside of the ring, and Jimmy, hesitant to get back in, he pointing to the box as if to say, what is going on here?
What is that? Is that a voodoo doll? Did he just hang a voodoo doll?
Yeah, you see in the shot that he has done exactly that.
Boy, that stench is, I can smell it all the way back here for me.
Yeah, that might just be you.
No, that is, I'm telling you, that is the stench of death.
Oh, and he's right up in Jimmy's face. Jimmy said, hey, I'm just trying to live my life. I don't imagine that there's going to be a point in this match that Jimmy is going to be able to make the Voodoo King dance. It might be the other way around, though.
Oh, he's at the box right in front of Carl. Carl, the bell ringer. He's got to be petrified right now.
Yeah, now the smell with the doors open here in the building is...
I told you, it's death. That is the smell of death.
Still got the mask. Was he going to wrestle with that mask on? That is a big human being waiting Jimmy Shane. Uh-oh. No, Jimmy.
I don't think this is going to fly.
No, Jimmy.
With Mojo. This is not the guy to dance and sing and be goofy with, Jimmy.
I weep for what might happen to Jimmy Shane.
I think tonight Jimmy Shane's going to be doing some growing up, whether he wants to or not.
Wow, he's going to be picking himself up off the canvas as Mojo just powers him down. Jimmy wants to shake his hand. Again, not really what Mojo seems interested in. As now Jimmy goes for the unorthodox lockup, and he's sent right back into the corner by Mojo. Mojo having no interest in breaking it.
And if he doesn't break it, are you brave enough as Joe Kopaz to make him break it?
The answer that was going to be no. I was going to allude to the same thing. And Kopaz, who normally would be admonishing someone with a physical count, just kind of backed up and said, hey, could you please maybe go back the other way? Jimmy with a go behind now with a takedown. It wasn't the prettiest takedown, but it works nonetheless as Jimmy. Joe Kopaz much more right up in Jimmy's face as if to say, hey, could you back up?
I can't believe how these idiots are cheering for Jimmy.
Why? I thought at one point he was
because
your 61st best friend.
Mojo could eat their souls for doing so.
Well, I hope that doesn't happen. Hey, that voodoo doll does look a little bit like you, though.
No.
Well, I don't know. If this is a test of strength, Mojo is way ahead right now, but the fans trying to help Jimmy back out. And that in itself, an interesting development. Jimmy trying to fight back up, and that's, well, that's one way. Just make your opponent dizzy. Wow.
Jimmy, this is not. He just. Oh.
He got hit with a battering ram. And a couple of them. That battering ram, by the way, is Mojo's head. And now he's just using him as a punching dummy.
We may be seeing the last match of Jimmy Shane here tonight.
Yeah, there's a good chance that Jimmy Shane's not going to want to talk about how the spin the wheel challenge has gone. And last couple of years, he's had kind of an interesting go of it in this event. A big slam from Mojo, and I don't know if you can hear Terrified through a crowd, but that is what is inside this arena right now. Crowd's firmly behind Jimmy. Jimmy's held a couple of singles titles in the last couple of years all around the state, and he's done quite well for himself the last year and a half or so here in World Wrestling. But he hasn't been in the ring with a ton of monsters.
No.
And I don't mean monsters in the sense of how we refer to Chris Hall or maybe Sherman Tank, like probably legit monsters. And
what's he doing with that doll, man?
I don't know, but
Mike, what's he doing with the doll?
I don't know, but he seems to have. Did he just?
What's he doing with the doll, man?
A giant pin? What is he doing? Surely he can't. No.
Well, I guess we know who the voodoo doll is of now.
How is this not a disqualification?
He is. How is it? How is this a disqualification? How is it?
It's outside. You can't do that.
How's it outside interference? He is not physically touching him with that foreign object.
He just stabbed him in the face.
He stabbed a doll in the face, which is perfectly legal.
I think magic is a disqualification.
Show me in the rule books where you cannot use black magic. Or any kind of magic for that matter.
I imagine Jimmy's going to write the foreword to that book. He's down in the corner. Look, and Mojo hasn't even touched him. Now he's there. Now, would that be a disqualification?
Only if he used it.
Joe Kopaz, there you go. And he did get in his way. And Mojo paid for it with repeated forearms by Jimmy Shane. Shane now looking to run the gauntlet all the way across the ring into the corner. And, down goes Mojo.
Don't do it, Jimmy. This is not the guy to do that to.
Oh,
Jimmy.
It's a rough ride for the Voodoo King. Wow, down it goes Mojo, and in the center of the ring, Jimmy, well, he's doing some Thriller, and he drops the elbow. 1, 2.
Nope, not enough, Jimmy. He keeps cracking his neck. That's just very disturbing.
Maybe he's got something going on that you don't know about. Now in the corner,
I bet he's got a lot going on I don't know about, and I don't want to know about it, McCormick.
Well, again, Jimmy, I guess, able to recover from the treatment of the voodoo doll, which, well, my question is, how does that work? Was he able to make a doll quick enough in the 5 minutes before Jimmy was chosen as his opponent?
I don't know. What are you asking me for? I don't know how voodoo works.
And a big slam by Mojo. 1, 2. Plants Jimmy on his face and picks up the win in his debut in War Wrestling. And I thought that match number 1 of the night was going to be the most unorthodox thing that we would see all day. Guess I was wrong. Mojo McQueen with the victory.
He's got that doll again. He's got the doll again, dude.
Why can't he just leave poor Jimmy alone?
He put the doll on him.
What is he? No! What? He just gave Jimmy the doll, and it's a very large man standing over top of Jimmy Shane. No. Is he just pretty much trying to scare the life out of Jimmy? I would say walking down the ramp probably did that. That's going to chase Joe Kopaz out of the building.
Make him take that box with him. Don't leave that out here, man.
Yeah, look, Nick Hahn wants nothing to do with him. Now he took off running. Right in front of the cameras, and that is one very large man.
Carl can't go nowhere. There's no way Carl could have escaped. I think Carl's just going to play dead.
Very interesting debut, to say the least. It'll be fascinating to see what happens with Mojo McQueen here as we go through the next couple of months in War Wrestling. We're going to talk about a match that may have worked out perfectly according to the wheel. The Sampsons and Bad Company. We want to see a fight? Here you go. It's not going to be flashy.
It'll be 4 very large men.
Just trying to beat the holy hell out of one another. What a way to start the month of October. These guys, again, have crossed paths a number of times. Not exactly a big surprise. Sometimes the wheel works in mysterious ways. And I feel like this is the one where it's going to be a big time of how this turns out.
I don't know if that ring is secure enough to hold all that beef that's about ready to get into it.
You got to figure legit, probably what, 900, 1,000 pounds between these 4 guys. Sherman Tank about 370 by himself. Chris Hall probably 275. And then these two, you got to believe, every bit of 275.
Oh, I bet you Vernon Lee's flirting real close to 300. Look at that chest.
Just massive individuals. And we talk about all the time about how big that Vernon Lee is. And you look at right next to him, look at Billy Jack.
Billy Jack, he's a whole head taller than him.
That's just That's just something. And then you look at these guys.
The best thing that could happen right now, though, is if both these guys just destroy each other. There's 2 less teams my guys would have to worry about.
And I think that you phrased that exactly correctly. Worry about. I wouldn't want to have to think.
Well, we're not worried about
687
you know how many
pounds.
times we beat these 2 jabronis already? And tag teams and singles. Any way they throw them at us, we destroy them.
Jabronis, former War Wrestling Tag Team Champions.
Thanks to me. Since getting rid of me, they haven't done a thing.
They got cheated out of multiple opportunities at the titles.
That's because they ain't smart enough to not get cheated out of them.
There you see Sherman Tank and Chris Hall right behind him. These guys, some of the biggest matches in tag team wrestling and War Wrestling history these guys have been a part of. The first night, the ladder match back in December of 2010, the
TLC with the Novas.
That's the one I was saying. Put on one heck of a performance against the High Def Supernovas and Matt Mason and Robbie Starr. But I remember walking out of the building that night and looking at those 4 guys after that match and thinking, how are you able to stand? And that's what it's got to feel like any night that you wrestle Bad Company or the Samsons.
Or the Samsons. I mean, come on, this is just going to be like King Kong versus Godzilla.
Great in theory, not a great movie. Didn't work out real well. So the Samsons on one side there, you see Burley and Billy Jack and Sherman Tank and Chris Hall on the opposite side. You can call them the Manish, you can call them the Silverback. Most nights you can just call them Effective. A little bit of Mojo Smoke still in the air.
Yes.
A little bit of Bad Companies.
I'll tell you what, though, I don't know if there's anybody as mean when they get in the ring as Billy Jack Sampson. It's just a whole different level when he's in there.
I would say that if there's a good chance that man is probably in this match.
Yeah.
One of these 4 would probably get my vote. Show of respect. How about that? Between the Samsons and Sherman Tank and Chris Hall. Strange things here tonight. Is it a full moon outside? Of course, the Samsons have had, quite an interesting time since we were last here in May. They've had quite a few battles of their own. And
with the 450 boys.
You asked about, is the ring reinforced tonight? These guys are trying to prove yes or no to that question right away. As first, Billy Jack and now Sherman Tank running the ropes, and neither one really coming up with anything. Look at the ring move, though. Neither man giving an inch.
It's like see the 2 rams on top of the mountain that just collides heads. See who going to be the king of the top of the mountain.
Billy Jack turned and looked at Sherman Tank. He said, "You want to try it with this guy?" Tags in Vernal Lee. Sherman Tank turns around and asks the same question of Chris Hall. And hey, if the first round didn't work, I guess we'll see what happens in the second round. And another show of respect between these guys.
Holding the hands a little too long there. I thought maybe somebody was going to do something.
Jay Cortez, of course, the easiest to pick out, not only because he's donning the stripes, but because he is
the smallest thing in the ring.
Yeah, I think he would be an appetizer if one of those 4 went looking for dinner.
I know for a fact Bad Company crap bigger than Jay Cortez.
So the lockup in at the center of the ring. Good opportunity for one of these 2 teams to prove their mettle in the tag team ranks. Look at that, a drop toe hold
out of Chris Hall. When did Chris Hall decide he was a wrestler?
I didn't believe that I was having the words come out of my mouth when I was saying it. And he went for the combination ankle lock and a knee bar. Somebody's been watching some Nakamura. It's probably a good idea. That guy's very good. So now the less technical.
Oh, big clothesline from Vernal Lee.
The far less technical big clothesline. Oh. And they chop to go along with it on Hall. The smoke still not dissipating.
Still smells like death, by the way.
Talking about Mojo McQueen, and not just that it was smoke, but that it had pink smoke. Don't know what's in the box, don't really want to get that close to find out. Now, Hall backed into the corner. Just being worked on. Billy Jack going to be getting hit in the face with cinder block. That big right fist.
Oh, I would hate if any of these guys in the ring were a proctologist.
Hall with a big suplex. And he goes for the cover right in his own corner. Smart tag team wrestling from Bad Company as they try and isolate one of these Sampsons, and this time in Billy Jack on their half of the ring. And now a normal man, that elbow would probably disintegrate him. Billy Jack, though, able to grab the ropes. Tank was arguing 1 or 2. Didn't matter. He ended up grabbing the ropes. And yeah, but like I was saying, it goes a long way towards getting another shot for one of these guys at the Dirty if they're still the champs whenever that is that they get their shot.
Oh, the Dirty will be the champs until the Dirty decides they don't want to be the champs anymore.
I got a feeling you guys got some problems coming your way.
No, we eliminated our problems tonight.
I saw the same thing, and you can go back and watch it earlier in this show and see. There are a couple of guys with some chairs, I think, that would beg to differ.
Who, them 2 old farts and the crazy koi?
I don't feel like you've made any friends.
I don't need friends.
Now Tank being repeatedly clotheslined, and what's Billy Jack if the ring will move. He moved it one way into the corner. He went to the well the second time, and he made the mistake, and he paid with a left-handed short clothesline from Sherman Tank. Very accomplished tag team and singles wrestler all across the Midwest. Tags back in Hall, and again, there you go, right in the corner, working on one man and keeping him on their side of the ring are the Bad Company.
Bad Company, they're a great tag team, very strong, but there's something missing, isn't there? Like a brains behind the brawn is missing from that team.
Some idiot on the outside yelling every 2 seconds. No, I think that we're good.
Just like, you know, the Sampsons are great. They're no Jock Sampson, but
well, the world can only use one of that guy at a time. He's enough for most people, and not just at a bar fight either. Hall trying to work on the arm as he's got it twisted. Billy Jack trying to fight it off, and these are tactics again. If you use them against a much smaller man, some of the other tag teams here in War, a lot more effective than if you're trying to rip off a tree limb like on one of these Sampsons.
Or a whole tree when it comes to these Sampsons.
And the roll over in the knees, you can call that an equalizer. And might be able to get Billy Jack, well, enough to tag in Vernon Lee, but he's on the wrong side of the ring.
The crowd kind of split here. You know, they were chanting for Hall earlier. Now they're chanting for Billy Jack. Just like Hook said, these guys are stupid.
Just because Hook said it doesn't make it correct.
I've known Hooks for a while now. He's never lied to me.
Vernon Lee misses with the clothesline. And there's another one from Tank. And talk about whether they have respect for one another or whether they don't. Here's 2 guys who have definitely been at odds and have been across from each other plenty of times in the last couple of years, and a big slam from Tank. Across the corner, there's another elbow right to the heart of Burley Sampson. Tank with the cover, 1, 2, and again,
foot on the rope.
Sampson able to get a foot up and grab the rope as well.
Sampsons are smarter than they look, apparently.
It would seem that way, as they are able to fight back. Now you talk about the crowd being split. I don't think they are anymore. They're firmly in the corner of Sherman Tank. Well, they were. Tank with Vernon Lee backed off, shoots him across. Now, ooh. You know you hit a guy hard when you can spin him around and he falls down the opposite way. Vernon Lee does just that, goes for the cover, hooks the leg late.
It's like watching 2 freight trains run into each other.
Yeah, nobody does well when that happens. Pretty much any analogy you can think of throughout the course of the night that would describe two massive things hitting one another, we're probably going to have to look up.
Oh!
How about that athletic ability from the big guy? The current big guy in Burley Sampson.
Tank rolled out of the ring after that.
There's the veteran prowess of Sherman Tank. He's been around for a couple of years.
And then a couple more.
Close to 20. Very accomplished in his own right. And, you know, this might be the best thing for the Sampsons if Bad Company gets themselves counted out, head to the pay window, and not really have to suffer any more damage.
And move up the rankings.
This match made, of course, because
I think respect's going to start to be thrown out the window.
Wait, what is happening? Why is Hooks here?
I told you I had a business transaction with Mr. Hooks earlier.
Come on.
I had sold him the staff. He is now the proud owner of the tag team Roots.
Come on, man. Why? Oh, Tank shot into the post.
Because he's eating me out of house and home, that's why.
Tank shot into the post on the opposite side of the ring by Burley Sampson. He might have hit that one face first, and I guess we're going to throw this one out because Roots, why? Why is this happening?
Ask Hooks. I have no control over these guys anymore.
Come on. So this match, of course, spoiled by Hooks, and of course, if you want to make an impact, he had Beast earlier who came up short in the Respect title scramble, and now he's got these guys out here trying to make a name for themselves as well. Or continue, I should say. And if the ring was questionable before on the weight limit, it's probably reached capacity and then some now. Hooks, look at the look on his face. Just watching his team, I guess his team now, destroy Chris Hall. And wait.
Oh.
Both members of Roots now. Oh.
That's not the type of ETB that Chris Hall likes.
Wow. And I thought Big Tom was going to be the worst thing that, or the worst person that said things tonight.
Trust me, he was.
I told you people I had a plan. And this is the next step in this plan. I'm building an army for War Wrestling. You know what this is?
I sold these guys to Hooks. I sold the staff.
He just said that.
I paid King Sampson for, and do you know why? Because it controls the most vicious, wild tag team in pro wrestling history. Tony and Papa Dingo, they're under my control now, and the army is growing.
Well, that's an ominous ending to his speech. An army is growing and led by Hooks. You might not like his tactics, but that's a smart man, the way that he has gone about quickly making an impact in his first night in War Wrestling.
All I know is I'm going on vacation after this thanks to Hooks.
How much exactly is a king's ransom?
Hey.
Is that between you
I
and
don't
the folks at the
money,
tax
especially
place?
with people like you.
Mrs. Blackheart wouldn't allow it. How is she, by the way?
Who?
Did she get your lawn done?
She made me a sandwich before I came. It was delicious.
Now who's being terrible? Look, and even Hooks has to back off and try and calm down part of his army. So a no contest between the Sampsons and Bad Company here in their third match set up by the Wheel at Blood, Sweat, and Fears 5.
The brains of the operation are missing.
Oh, not quite sure that I have ever seen Bad Company manhandled in such a fashion. However, conversely, I don't know that I would want to have those guys on my bad side.
Yeah, and you know another reason I made the deal I made is they're taking out Bad Company, who's been one of the biggest thorn in the sides when it came to the Dirty and the Tag Team Championship.
And in your personal side. Oh, man.
Oh! Am I the only one enjoying this? I love this.
Well, that's because you're a despicable human being.
This may be the greatest thing to ever happen in War Wrestling, except for Jake something.
Or Brandon Edwards.
Or Brandon Edwards. Or Austin Mannix. Or Idris Abraham.
And I guess now, Hooks and his army, the Hooks army, has had enough. So Roots, Hooks, and Beast. Wow. The only thing I can think to describe it.
See that?
Wow.
See that head? I didn't want to deal with that anymore. That's why I sold that staff.
Wow. Getting into it with security.
You think that's bad? You should have them at your house.
Now, Nick Hahn's on the run. Run, Nick!
It's like watching a lion go after a gazelle.
Oh, he's out of here. He's at the highway.
A fat, bald gazelle.
Nick is kind of like the clowns running down 75 now. Does that microphone work down the street? That Big Tom has come out. I would say all hell has broken loose, but that happened a long time ago. Big Tom has got a chair. What? What is happening?
Not my problem anymore. That's all I know.
Hook's army might end up in jail before the end of the night.
Who do you think got better into that deal that I made? Huh? Me or Hooks?
I can't believe I'm about to say this, but you outsmarted Hooks. Wow.
Every damn time. Listen, guys. I'm gonna make you a promise right here, right now. I don't even like coming out here all the damn time. For whatever reason, Ripper sold Roots to Hooks. I have no idea why, where, when, how. I apologize for not knowing. All right? But what I will promise you guys, and I don't really say this too often, I'm willing to give up ownership of War Wrestling to manage you guys. See, everybody knows, has followed us for a long time, knows that this was a conflict of interest, me being the owner and also being a manager. But I believe in you too. You hear me? I believe in you too. So, right here, right now, I'm gonna tell you guys this. I'm gonna go to the lawyer's office. What is up with that damn mic? I'm about to throw it. I'm gonna go to the lawyer on Monday, and I'm gonna draw up some papers. And I, as Tom Williams, the owner of War Wrestling, I'm gonna give up the ownership to manage you guys. match reached this belt center to be out here in our corner and watch our back. About damn time. Let's do it.
The following contest is scheduled for one fall. Making his way to the ring from Dayton, Ohio, weighing 318 pounds, the monster of the Midwest, Kyle Craven!
Another new face here at War Wrestling, another big guy.
You talked about feeding guys and having to keep enough food on hand. What do you feed the monster of the Midwest? Answer, probably whatever he says. Whole
Look at that,
chickens? I'd imagine whole chickens. Like, he doesn't even care. 318 pounds is what he
probably
was,
eats killer whales. Not fish, killer whales.
32 years old, out of the Dayton area, 6'2", 230, or 320. I read it backwards. Good Lord. I wouldn't want to be whoever's on the other end of this.
Another newcomer here to War.
So Jay Maynard will take on Kyle Craven, and kind of interesting. You get kind of a proving ground match in a way, where you get a chance to show off what you can do against the guy.
Jay Maynard debuted for us at the Craterville Jamboree over the summer. Truck driver, turned wrestler. Don't see enough of that nowadays.
Of course, trained with Truth Martini in the House of Truth in the suburban Detroit area, and then a lot of rivalries with guys who are familiar to War Wrestling. Joe Coleman, Caleb Stills. Now he gets to take on the monster of the Midwest. And again, I ask, how do you fight a monster?
Well, Maynard better come up with something.
So we'll see what he can do here as he's outweighed by a pretty good amount. Shot off the rope now.
Oh, wow.
To a normal human being, that
Is there
would be,
any other word for that?
No.
Wow.
Impressive, amazing, phenomenal. Take what you want. Now, 300 pounds right down across the back and the throat of Jay Maynard by Kyle Craven. Another one where Joe Kopaz kind of has to administer the rules, but picks and chooses how he does that. Joe's going to live a long life if he continues that way.
Whoa, that's got to be like getting hit by a frying pan.
I would imagine 3 or 4 of them at once. So Craven now in charge.
Yeah, Maynard's going to wish he stuck to driving truck for a living.
If he had been driving the truck, he might have been able to pick up Nick Hahn when he ran out of here. Brought him right back to the arena. Impressive is what describes this man, but not necessarily, I don't think it's enough. Nothing flashy about him, just single blacks on
Look at that. It's like a fly landing on his chest.
Oh.
Sound like a shotgun blast to us.
You know, they talk about how you know, the things that you shouldn't do. I would imagine that Slap Kyle Craven is probably one of those, as he gets an opportunity to almost behead Jay Maynard. Not a lot of people want to get up in there and say things to him when Kyle Craven walks around the ring. He's been in some wars himself the last handful of years around Ohio and down south as he gets a nice suplex. Maynard might want to just take this loss and move on for his health. Imagine the wars he's had over the years.
He might want to head on down the road.
Move on down the road, yeah. I saw that coming. He's fought Grits and Gravy. He's fought Ron Mathis, Chris Hall, all impressive guys that we've seen throughout the years. Oh, man.
He is just...
That's got to be. We're done. The jackknife powerbomb.
That's kind of ironic. The jackknife powerbomb given to a trucker.
Hey, Nick's back. So
Where'd Nick come from?
He walked in the back door, I think. So an impressive quick win by Kyle Craven. And I don't know if I'm you that I don't try and see how quick I can get him one of those 4X Dirty t-shirts.
Yeah, he would be an excellent addition.
Gotta wonder, though. Imagine down the road after he establishes himself that he might be the guy to come after Jake something.
Lima, Ohio, Spin the Wheel Challenge. Vinny from Jersey here with two of my 450 boys, Handsome Vinny and Southpaw Sonny, the Scarbonies. And they're going to put the names of all these punks on the wheel tonight and throw a spin. And they got to face whoever it lands on. Let me tell you something. It ain't going to be no issue for these two here. We got the brains and we got the brawn.
That's right, Vinny. Let me tell you something. You can spin that wheel all night long. It don't matter who it lands on. Because once we cruise through that tag team and dominate, we're heading to the bar, baby, and spending some dollars.
You know, the difference between guys like you and guys like us is you're wondering what's going to happen, but the 450 boys, we know what's going to happen out there. We don't wait for destiny to come. We're talking about the 450. Bowling out, Danny Shea. That's right. By God, Jock Sampson, and the longest reigning tag team of all time.
That's right, baby.
The Scarboni brothers with Vinny from Jersey. You see, 2 years we held those belts and beat everybody that they put in our way. So why can't we beat everybody on that wheel? You spin a wheel, that sounds like gambling.
Oh yeah.
And I ain't too much of a gambling man, but I already take my chances talking to these two boys. Let's get out of here. Forget about it.
Forget about it.
Well, this will be an interesting match. You start off with the former two-time War Wrestling champions in the Scarbonis. There you see sleazing his way to the ring, Vinny from Jersey.
Not only that, they represent the 450 boys.
That's a lot of representing. Boom, boom, boom. Theme song's catchy, though. A lot of bass. I guess the Scarbonis are all about that bass.
I know Vinny from Jersey is.
Ironically, Vinny from Jersey comes out without a pizza box tonight.
Well, it's later in the night. They might not ate that before they came out.
Well, he probably tried to stop in Bowling Green and get one and saw that line and was just like, no. It'll be closed by the time that this show airs. So a interesting matchup here because you get the well-traveled, mustached now Bruce Gray, Grits and Gravy, he and John Murray. And we talked about it in a couple of matches ago with the Sampsons and Bad Company in the ring, about making your mark in the tag team scene here in War Wrestling. Grits and Gravy have already started to do that the last handful of shows, but again, just like the Sampsons, if you can knock off a team as well decorated and as long reigning in this promotion as the Scarbonis, you would think you're well on your way to getting a tag title shot.
The Scarbonis by far the second greatest tag team ever in War Wrestling.
You know, every time that you say that, you have different clients, and it continues to change who that team actually is.
The first is by far Austin Mannix and Idris Abraham, the current and reigning War Tag Team Champions.
Well, I would think that Stamp Lickage probably has a little bit to say, and I know that the Postmaster would have something to say about that.
They could say all they want, but they'd be wrong.
Well,
I deal in facts, McCormick. And the fact is, the guys with the belts are the best tag team in the promotion.
The Scarbonis, they don't care about grits and gravy. They just bum rushed him right at the start. Look, Southpaw Sonny with the right hands. How about that? And he was throwing some haymakers.
And look at Bruce Gray go to town. Has DDT and will travel.
From the aptly named Knock'em Stiff, Ohio. I've always thought that was very apropos for Bruce Gray, considering how well, if he hits you with that DDT, lights out.
I don't think there's going to be a lot of scientific wrestling in this match either, McCormick.
I don't think that there has been early on, but it's now turned into a thing where Bruce tried something, now Sonny Scarboni is trying the exact same thing, and it's destroying Bruce Gray. John Murray in a world of hurt. So the big hurt, with a big bear hug. At least momentarily, but tag team wrestling, and it's 2-on-1 quickly.
Now, Bruce Gray, True Grit Bruce Gray, thus the grit. How is John Murray the gravy?
Because he likes gravy?
I'll allow it.
I mean, I don't really see anything wrong with that. Bruce now making sure that his towel is good and wrapped up. The old school mentality of Bruce Gray as he made his own tag rope. And he's not shy about making sure that you know that.
John Murray got Sonny Scarboni right where he wants him. Ooh, avalanche type move right into the corner.
And it's what happened to the tag rope? Not administering his own rules. Wow. Down goes Scarboni.
John Murray, a mountain of a man.
Wow. We talked about it earlier with Kyle Craven about his shoulder block, but again, the only word you could think to describe it, wow. And
remember Jerry the Crusher Blackwell? That's who John Murray reminds me of. Big guy, but can move in that ring.
Now it's, it's broken down again. And Bruce realizes.
Did they just do a nipple twist?
No, he got the midsection. That's the odd part about that. I thought at first when he pulled the shirt up, that's what he was going for.
I think that's what John Murray's doing right there. Made famous by Nacho Libre.
In his stretchy pants. Only a 2 count, and Jake Cortez is pretty much, I didn't know that this was a tornado tag team match. He has lost all control.
I don't think he ever had control. You know who's in control right now? It's the Scarbonis.
Well, I was going to say in that last sequence, Sonny Scarboni, who is now an impressive-looking human being with a beautiful suplex on Bruce Gray.
I'm a big fan of the Scarbonis. I'll admit it. I like watching them work.
When you're not having a team on the opposite side of the ring?
Well, even then, it's still beauty to watch them work. I mean, they're not going to win, but
Scarbonis just made a wish on Bruce Gray, and Bruce's wish, of course, was that they hadn't just done that. Scarboni's not only the longest tenured tag team here in War Wrestling, but really 2 of the longest tenured performers overall the entire time, and they've been here for quite a while. They've accomplished a lot, spent a lot of time with the tag team championships around their waists.
They are the longest reigning tag team champions in War history. They are one of the few teams to have it twice. I think there was only, I believe, 3 teams to hold the War tag titles twice. Delivery Inc., the Jihad, and the Scarbonis.
There you go. And it's
and where are the other 2 now? They're not here. The Scarbonis are still here. And, they might not be much longer after that, McCormick.
Uh-oh. Wisely, Grits and Gravy go for the cover. You've got the biggest man in the ring, and John Murray right on top of the Scarbonis, and then you add Bruce as well. So
I
that's
think they've raised the ire, if you will, of Handsome Vinny.
Probably, speaking of Vinny's, Vinny from Jersey on the outside, not not all that willing to try and get involved in this match early on, and not very happy about how the last couple of minutes have gone until the Scarbonis come back and get the advantage. And a double back body drop. And now the cover by Bruce. 1 and 2. He pulled the tights.
He pulled the tights.
And he came away with a victory. How about that? The Scarbonis.
That's got to move the Grits and Gravy up in the ranks when it comes to the tag team titles.
One thing Grits and Gravy have known, they've been on a roll in the tag team scene in the state of Ohio in the last year or so, and now find themselves, you would think, with an opportunity coming up in the next couple of months here in War Wrestling. And if anybody appreciates what Bruce just did, it's Bruce.
I'm back in Lima, Ohio for War Wrestling. It's been a while, to be honest. I don't know if you can tell, I'm kind of excited. It's been a while since, I've gotten in the ring, fought around with some people. So tonight is the Spin the Wheel Challenge. I don't know if I want to say I'm nervous, because it doesn't matter who's in the ring on the other side of me. It could be a midget, it could be a girl, a boy, a champion. I mean, I've wrestled all of them, even the little person. But regardless, I say that, it'd be awesome though? Let's see. If I wrestled Jake something. Yeah. I think that's what I want to happen. Me versus Jake something. Because, I've been here long enough. And I consider myself a pretty tough broad, classy broad. And I can get in there with any of the other wrestlers. So, me and Jake something. Heather Owens, the new War Champion. I like that. So tonight, hopefully that's what happens.
So there you go, another spin of the wheel. Mikey Smalls and Heather Owens here.
The Teen Wolf against the Blonde Devil.
Now they're talking about how she doesn't care. She'll fight anybody, and she'll get an opportunity against one of the young guns here in War Wrestling in Mikey Smalls. Heather kind of loves this event because she gets to mix it up with the guys. Originally, there was a chance she was going to have a possibly another female to fight, but as the card says, subject to change.
Yeah.
Things happen, and now she gets an opportunity later in this show, meaning the late part of this show, to
there's the Teen Wolf himself.
Fight that man in Mikey Smalls, and he's been a part of some big feuds already here in his short tenure in War Wrestling. Another one of the guys here in War Wrestling. We talked about the influence of Truth Martini in the Midwest, and another young man, Mikey Smalls, who is under that learning tree. Taking on the Cody Hawk learning tree and Heather Owens. She's had a multiple set of opportunities, had an interesting couple of months where she and Jimmy Shane had some misunderstandings and had a couple of matches.
And then they're tagging together, and they're with Cody Hawk. And
how does that go? You know what? Sometimes all you got to do is flip the calendar and you'll have a totally different view than you did the day before here the early part of October. And of course, hardcore Heather Owens, but we've seen over the years, one, that the crowd is really behind her here tonight. Mikey Smalls sort of egging it on, and two, much like we saw earlier on with some of the other matches, technical when she needs to be. It's really got to annoy you when matches start with a handshake, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. That's not wrestling. Wrestling's about beating the other guy up.
Or in this case, the other gal.
I'm not totally convinced of that.
Wow. I noticed you didn't say that to her backstage earlier on.
I didn't say much to her backstage.
Because she would have punched you in the face?
Maybe get out of my way or make me a sandwich.
And she had you actually said that, I firmly believe she would have punched you right in the face. She may be a classy broad, but she's not going to take your crap.
Oh, look at that in record time.
And she is going to take a win. Mikey Smalls has no idea what's happening, but look at this. Grits and Gravy now, what are they doing out here? Why are they out here? They already won their match. Uh-oh. What? Why? There's the DDT from Bruce. Now Jimmy Shane hobbling down to the ring, along with Cody Hawk. Jimmy a little worse for wear after his battle with Mojo McQueen earlier. You see nursing that leg where Mojo stabbed his voodoo doll with the pin.
Dude, let's stop talking about it. It creeped me out, man.
I found out later during the intermission, the purple smoke, souls that he has taken. So another,
I didn't even know that, man.
Even more creepy to find out about Mojo McQueen. Jimmy Shane, Heather Owens standing their ground along with the independent icon and Cody Hawk. And again, it's an odd thing, a show of respect from the classy broad to her former opponent Mikey Smalls, who she just beat with the roll-up. Grits and Gravy being helped to the back. What? No, he's not back, is he? I gotta go. This is not. What is happening?
There's that stench again.
Again, he said it was trapped souls. There have only been a couple of guys who have come out or left here in this casket. The former War Respect champion and Zach Spades was one. But he's not. This isn't
Mojo's
him.
music.
Why is Mojo back? Oh no. Mikey Smalls with a bewildered look on his face. As you get a look inside the casket. Oh no. Somebody get this guy out of here. Anybody.
Why would security even bring him out?
I don't
Unless it's that voodoo magic again.
Maybe that's what happened now. Mikey Smalls about to go for a ride, and it is straight to the emergency room after that. What is making that man do the voodoo that he does? Oh, again, the same security who just wheeled him out here. Why are they not putting a stop to this?
Would you get in there with him?
I'm not security. You can't just continue to let this happen to Mikey Smalls. Seriously. Nobody here is going to put a stop to this. Wait, he's going to talk? Look, and Nick Hahn, who he chased off earlier on, says, yeah, here you go.
What? I don't care what he said.
I just care that he leaves.
It's probably some voodoo mumbo jumbo that you don't want to repeat.
And I guess he's going to take Mikey Smalls with him.
No, he left Mikey in the ring.
He's going to get back in himself. Wow. So what a weird turn of events.
Oh, he's got Mikey.
Well, he said forget about the casket now. He's maybe? Somebody's got to get this guy out of here. I thought maybe earlier on that Kyle Craven might have been the most dangerous newcomer that we've seen. I don't know that it's not this guy. He just stuffed Mikey Smalls in a casket. Now the same security that helped him bring it out here are now running away. And there's that box again. And again, not the wisest thing that Chocolate Thunder's ever done. I wouldn't get in that guy's face.
I wouldn't get in that guy's area code.
You better leave now. Hope you got the truck running outside. Maybe you can hitch a ride with Jay Maynard on his way out of here. That is one scary dude. And he's not, apparently not done yet. Where are they trying to take the...
Down. Here we are, back in the UAW Hall. War Wrestling, Blood, Sweat, Tears. Spin the Wheel Challenge. You see, nothing can make me happier than that, because I am a man who is hungry and ready to make my way all the way to the top of this company. That's to you, Jake Something. So I don't care who I get on that wheel. You be out there with me, you better bring your best, because I'm going all out.
Scheduled for one fall. Enter the right ring first, accompanied by their manager Hooks and Beast. First off the homicide, weighing in at 6 full-grown elephants.
So a fatal five-way here in the semi-main event of Blood, Sweat, and Fears 5, and you see the monstrous individuals in the ring, and I don't just mean their manager in Hooks or Beast, but it's both members of Roots in a fatal five-way against the Dark Star Matt Taylor, against Austin Mannix, and against SW Walker. So that leaves you with the main event of tonight's show is going to be Jake Something and Brandon Edwards, and one of the guys who wrestled earlier and was assaulted by a voodoo doll, and the weirdest thing I've seen happen in a while, and Jimmy Shane now joining us.
Hey man, how's it going?
A lot better than probably you or probably Mikey Smalls.
Yeah, by the time I get to the back, I see Mikey Smalls getting attacked too, and what is with these people that keep coming in?
I don't mean to make light of what happened to you, but that's one hell of a way to make your debut.
Props to him.
Go after guys who the young guns of this company have been here for a while and, well, not really have a conscience, clearly, and just try and put everybody out. Again, an interesting match here. The Fatal Five-Way, kind of similar to the six-man scramble that crowned the new Respect champion in Brandon Edwards earlier on, and now we're interrupted again by Hooks.
They're taking that Taylor out of it. That's what
Remember, you know, I got some respect for you, but that was not a smart move. Because I came out here, as you can see, I got my three guys. We came out here to challenge whoever walked through that curtain. I don't really care or give a damn about their wheel. We came out here to challenge whoever three guys came through that curtain to a six-man tag match. So now
Wow. So we thought the wheel didn't mean anything earlier on. Now apparently the wheel really doesn't mean anything. The more you know nothing.
And those Ripper used to manage those two.
Well, that's what he talked about earlier in this show was that, hey, I made a deal where I had a king's ransom from Hooks. And I now am happy because I don't have to pay those guys his food bill anymore.
Yeah,
pretty sound theory. Except for it's probably going to backfire on him here in a second. So Matt Taylor is gone. Short night for the former Respect champion.
So Mannix cost himself a partner.
Indirectly, yeah.
Good, I kind of like that one.
It's funny how the every time he thinks something goes right for the Dirty, that it eventually ends up blowing up in their face.
And this is S.W. Walker.
He is a big man.
I'm intrigued to watch this. Kind of glad I didn't draw him, but then again, I didn't do much better with who I did draw anyhow. So
a little bit earlier for you this year. Didn't have to wait around like last year. You had to be impressed with. I don't even know what to call her anymore. Your friend Heather Owens, your former partner / enemy, comes away with a big win. Does it in short fashion, and then. Again, everything kind of goes sideways before Mikey Smalls is casketed out of here again. I see you've made a lot of friends. It's probably the new shirts.
I'll tell you who my friends are. Roots. I don't like Roots.
What was up with that?
Austin Mannix. I don't like Austin Mannix. I kind of hope they all just tear each other apart, and S.W. Walker somehow picks up a win by himself. So Mannix does not get the win.
I've heard that recently with your new attitude, so to speak, that you've kind of been moving down the friends list. Ripper says you guys aren't really speaking much anymore.
But what does that really mean? Ripper never managed me.
He says you're like his 150th best friend now, and you were like 63 or something.
Good for him.
Anytime he's sad, I'm happy. So the unorthodox combo of S.W. Walker and Austin Mannix. And Austin wanted nothing to do with S.W. Walker. And
been there.
Man. So a semi-main event that keeps evolving has evolved into Roots, and the first man that was brought in here tonight by Hooks in Beast against the makeshift duo of S.W. Walker and Austin Mannix. But if I'm Walker, I don't know that I want to be partners with Mannix.
Whoa, he just took Papadingo down.
Papadingo doesn't go down easy. A quick tag to Austin Mannix.
Huh.
All right, we'll see how this plays out.
Wasn't expecting this one.
Fans are kind of not really caring what happens, kind of like you said about everybody beating each other up. They don't really care who wins.
But obviously Mannix knows a thing or two about tag team wrestling. He's one half of the current tag team champions, right?
True. Idris Abraham was not available to make it down here tonight. Ripper gave me some long-winded explanation that only he can. But Roots taking out one half of the champs, and this might be an Austin Mannix-sized stain on the mat.
Oh, been there. Don't want to go back.
He's lucky that he caught just most of the head and neck region and not the body. Otherwise,
but just the head and neck region of Tanu weighs like as much as Mikey Smalls.
It'd be like getting hit in the face with a bowling ball, I would imagine.
Exactly.
Now Mannix looking to try and get back in. Well, he just hit him with a phantom punch, but it didn't seem to do anything. So now he'll lay the rights back out. See what he can do. 3-on-2 in this match. When we talk about the impressiveness, Ripper and I did earlier, of this team in Roots, you gotta believe, just like earlier with a couple of Grits and Gravy and then with Bad Company, yeah, they're not on the top of my list either. You get a win over half of the tag team champions in any form, and you're doing yourself a heck of a service going forward. Now the Beast in against Austin Mannix resorts to a much different tactic than did Roots, of just trying to choke out Austin Mannix. And let's be honest, who hasn't wanted to choke out Austin Mannix?
I thought about it every time too.
Oh,
but now, this is what's interesting. Mannix is fighting back, and people are kind of getting behind him.
I think it's a thing where they're not so much getting behind him as much as they are against what's across the ring from him. I thought Mannix was going to try and shoot him across. Would have been a mistake to send him over in that corner.
He's much smarter than that.
He's been around the block a time or two. You can say one thing about the Dirty. They're not a dumb group.
He was pulling Beast's chest hair. I like this guy.
Would
yeah.
That
Rip
be
it
like,
off.
that'd be like wearing a tie to the ring? You kind of set yourself up for that?
He just pulled him by his chest.
I think he got him by the beard that time.
Wash his hands.
Yeah, you might want to. Kind of like that guy that used to collect taxes. Not a very smart move to wear a tie to the ring. Full head of steam for Walker, and full head of post for Mr. Walker.
And those posts hurt.
Beast makes a tag, and tell you what, I said this earlier when they were out here, but I don't know that I want to be over in a corner where Hooks is.
And see, that's the thing. Mannix is just watching his partner get beat up because he doesn't care about him. That's the kind of guy that everyone in the Dirty is. They only watch out for all themselves, as we saw earlier with Orlando Christopher.
Ripper's over there, and he's actually instructing them on what to do, meaning Roots, to S.W. Walker.
But how effective is that if Ripper does not have the staff anymore?
I think he's just trying to put out a suggestion. He's not all that bright. Hooks now, you see him walking around the ring with that staff, and his squad or his army here in this match. They've been effective. Not just big, but they move very well for big guys.
Oh, I would not want to be here.
Mannix again, he's not really helping out. He doesn't care if he loses this match, be honest.
He probably wants to share the winners first, but he doesn't care if S.W. Walker gets hurt.
True. He might just want Mr. Walker to let this one end, but only a 2 count. Main event should be interesting. Current members now of the Dirty and Brandon Edwards and Jake Something, the singles champions here in War Wrestling. Heck, by the time that main event starts, the way tonight's gone, it might be for both titles.
You never know.
Gotta wonder where the rest of the Dirty's allegiance would lie in that one, as they had themselves an interesting time in the opening. Walker trying to fight back to his feet. Just an open hand slaps. Mannix
isn't even trying.
Ripper said, you were that close to making this tag. Come on now. Walker.
Good job, Walker.
Again with another opportunity.
This will be interesting to see if Mannix makes the tag here.
I imagine this is one where Mannix will just step off the apron. Now, is he trying to... Oh. And right on cue. Just seems like the kind of thing Austin Mannix would do.
I hate to say I told you so, but because I hate to see it happen to Walker. And his War Wrestling debut right here.
Mannix just took a seat in the front row. Walker in there with all 3 of the representatives from Hooks, and, well, he might not be for long. Samoan drop, and
Dingo's going to go up. I've seen him do. I've taken this from him at the Allen County Fair.
The good thing is you're around to remember it.
Yeah.
And
that's got to be it. There's still a way.
Just end it. And they do. So Roots and Beast pick up the win. And thankfully that one comes to an end now.
Walker was basically in a handicap match the whole time. He lost one partner. Another partner turned his back on him.
That's just... Sometimes the wheel is not your friend, and even worse when Hooks can just convince you. He doesn't even need the stick for other people. He's just got that kind of influence to do exactly what he wants. And Mr. Walker might want to make some friends here in War Wrestling if this is what's going to happen to him.
Please welcome
Main event time here at Blood, Sweat, and Fears 5, a title-for-title contest between the reigning War Wrestling champion and Jake Something, the, I don't know what you would say, the head of the Dirty, as he takes on the new War Respect champion in Brandon Edwards, also a member of that same group. Not the smartest thing that Jake Something has ever done, getting right into the face, and possibly the feet of Brian Beach if he's not careful. Beach, of course, the special guest referee in tonight's contest, and it's got to make you wonder, where does Ripper's allegiance lie?
After the way what they did to Orlando Christopher earlier, I have no idea.
So that degenerate always has something up his sleeve of his ridiculous shirts. And again, you go back and you look. We talked about Idris Abraham earlier, the other half of the tag team champions, not here tonight, but Austin Mannix is here. Where does his allegiance lie? And he's been with Jake Something for quite a while now, riding in the Dirty.
But we heard earlier how good of friends he is with Brandon Edwards. They're like family.
Kind of a different thing, that a really dramatic element. You never know how the wheel is going to turn out.
I didn't know Mannix liked anybody.
That's the other part of it. Sometimes I question whether it, he and Idris Abraham get along.
Oh, I'm real interested to see how this goes.
I can only imagine what these two have in mind. So it's not going to be like a normal match because, again, you have members of the same faction squaring off, and you have a referee with a propensity to probably let quite a bit go.
Are you kidding me?
No way. Beach is not even going to count.
These two great athletes, and they're going to go out there and do trash like this.
This didn't work the first time around. I don't think it's going to work this time. Oh! I think Beach just told the champion that he's his #1 fan. Something like that. Brandon Edwards has been, he talked about it in his speech earlier on. He's not a guy who's a new guy here. He's been around. Jake Something tried one actual wrestling move. And then he went back to the well.
And let's not get it twisted. Jake Something and Brandon Edwards, they're both superior athletes in there, and they can go. That's why this is so distasteful.
And it's a guy, it says on his T-shirt in Brian Beach, a War original, 13 years coming up in just a couple of months. He's been around. He's been around that belt. He's never had it, but he's fought all the guys throughout the years, the Dusty Dillingers, the Sweet Stevie Lees, that have been hallmarks of this company. And he doesn't want to see that kind of nonsense in this main event. And you know damn well if Jake Something pulled off that finger poke and got the win, he just turned right back around and hand the belt to Brandon Edwards.
Exactly.
This isn't one of those Hulk Hogan Ultimate Warrior type knockdown drag-out fights for the belt. It's these two hooligans.
Well, apparently, the boss has something to say.
I apologize over again. I'm going to tell you guys something right here. You will not pull off some Hulk Hogan Kevin Nash bullshit. Hey, I'll give you guys a salute for that, all right? Stand right there. Army boy. Here, stand at attention, because I'm going to give you a proper salute, okay? All right, ready?
I think Beach beat him to that one.
Since you guys want to play the game, I'll play the game too. I used to these excuses for bad and me out here, but these people pay their hard-earned damn money to see a championship match. So guess what? I'm going to insert somebody into this match. At least,
Uh-oh. Wait, I thought Matt Taylor was carted out of here.
Looks like he's got some fight left in him.
Wait, so if Matt Taylor wins, does he win both belts?
I hope so.
It is title for title. Taylor.
That's a champion we can be proud of, right there. Dark Star Matt Taylor.
That's a Taylor, or a man with a lot to overcome. He's in a handicap match, let's be honest, and he's fighting half of the dirty.
You got to question the thought process behind this. Throw him out there to the wolves, pretty much.
What a night it would be if Matt Taylor was able to overcome not only being beaten down by, well, the guy outside the ring in Austin Mannix, who ironically, like you said, screwed himself out of a partner in taking out Matt Taylor, but he's able to overcome that
and he is right
walk
now
out with every singles championship.
Get him, Matt. Sorry, I know I should be impartial, but
Taylor already the champion in the state of Ohio, but he's looking to add 2 singles championships to his reign. And the Dark Star, he might be thinking about some flights.
It's something he likes to do in this situation.
A guy who's been here for a long time, lethal combination with that boomstick, but right now he's looking to fly. Call the Allen County Airport, and there's a Dark Star. Tope Suicida.
Flipping Tope Suicida.
How about that? That's how you split the middle. Kind of talked about it in the last match with Tank Tank and Hall when they went bowling. Now the Dark Star up top looking. High cross body for the cover. 1 and 2 and almost. Like you said, a champion we could be proud of.
Now let's talk a little bit of history. 2 years ago, I wrestled Matt Taylor at the Spin the Wheel Challenge, and he beat me in record time.
Yeah,
I kind of hope
kicked your face off
with a super kick just like that. Come on, Matt.
Now with the duck looking, right kick to the midsection. There's the jumping leg, the combination. Goes to the cover again. Beach right on the money, but still only a 2 count. You know, the guy the kind of caliber of Beach would love for someone like Matt Taylor to have his hand raised at the end of the night.
And so would these people listen to him.
If I said Matt Taylor was the favorite in this match, it would be a gross understatement. What a night that would be. You start off with the dirty and all the things they did at the beginning of this show and trying to pull the wool over everybody's eyes, and then walk out with Matt Taylor as the champ.
Both champs, possibly.
Taylor, here he goes looking for the boomstick.
Got it, that's it.
Right on the money. Goes for the cover 1. There you go. There's the 2-on-1. You not only save your own title, but your partner's title as well.
Like I said, you can't count out Jake Something or Brandon Edwards, but you definitely cannot count out the Dark Star Matt Taylor.
Jake Something, of course, coming in as a tag team wrestler here in War years ago. He ends up making his mark rather quickly. Then the transformation, not only of his attitude, you see he's a much bigger guy, and I know you've had run-ins with him through the years, and really has transformed himself into a pretty physical and dominant champion.
It's something to behold, Jake Something, too. But here's something I just thought of. If Jake Something wins this match and gets both championships, that would make him the Triple Crown champion here in War Wrestling.
True. Now Taylor fighting back with the support of the fans. Sent, wow, through the ropes. How about that?
Taylor's not going to let that Triple Crown championship happen here.
Said quick like a cat. Now lands right on his feet, working one-on-one with Jake Something. Knocks.
That's the power of Jake Something right there.
Right down with the back elbow. Goes for the cover, does the champion. 1-2. And the kick out. Now Beach, and there you go. There's the numbers game for the dirty. Austin Mannix right up in Brian Beach's face, and no love lost between those two. Taylor ducks the clothesline, comes back, got caught right in the center of the ring.
Oh, big backbreaker.
Almost pressed him before he did it. Now the cover 1-2 again. And the champion getting visibly frustrated with the challenger, one of the challengers.
Come on, Beach, get him off there.
In the Dark Star, Matt Taylor. Brandon Edwards. Now Ripper.
There's Ripper.
Just can't stay out of it. One day that guy's getting the ultimate comeuppance. Another 2 count though. Edwards in no hurry. Kind of a weird thing for him too, because Jake keeps going for all these covers.
But we saw Edwards was willing to lay down for Jake.
So maybe he doesn't care. There's only a handful of guys that have held that Respect title. He being the most recent. as he took it off his stablemate. At least we assume his stablemate still. And Orlando Christopher earlier. Wow. What a right hand by the Dark Star. And one just for good measure from the champ. Something over 400 days as the War Wrestling Champion. Only one of a couple of guys to have accomplished that feat. Like I said, I maybe don't like his tactics or what have you, but there are very few guys in the state of Ohio that have had as dominant title reigns as Jake Something has had here in War.
He's got to be nearing the record by now, isn't he?
He's got to be getting pretty close. Now back in control, and again, I talked about it earlier, you don't necessarily need the distraction, but this is a referee in Brian Beach who is going to let you maybe go a little further than Joe Kopaz or Jay would.
But you also got to think if Ripper gets a little too far out of line, he might be getting an attitude adjustment from bad attitude Brian Beach.
That would not be the worst thing to ever happen.
I would kind of love it if that happened right now.
I would actually laugh myself stupid if that were to happen. Crowd way
Dark Star's
behind
starting to fight back right now. And he's keeping it one-on-one. Oh. But that's a numbers game. Where you turn to take one out, and then the other one's right there to take you out.
Matt Taylor trained in 2000. Of course, Jeremy Madrox, a guy that he's had a lot of wars with, former War Wrestling champion, one of the most decorated because he had the most defenses, almost 20 in that 6 months that he was the champ. With his training, 5'10", 183, and he's, I feel like I've overused this, but a lot of guys on this roster it applies to. He's in there with a monster in Jake Something.
And look, Jake Something's just wearing him down, and Edwards is helping out. This is disgusting me.
Taylor down to 2. Oh, he's able to hold the arm up on the third go-round.
Come on, Matt, fight back. That's that numbers game.
Jake Something just taunting pretty much everybody in the crowd here in Lima. The beginning of October, the start to the run to War 13 in February.
Oh, they're not going for it. I think they're going for it, are they? This is the move that Jake Something and Austin Mannix used to use as a tag team.
I think at this point they might be going for pretty much anything that'll put Matt Taylor down for a siesta.
Unfortunately, this move would.
Now up on the shoulders, and wow, Taylor able to fight it off, and he sent him, drop kick DDT. You gotta love when he does that to anybody, not you.
I'm glad that me and Matt Taylor put our difference behind us. We're friends now.
So that he doesn't boomstick you at any given point?
Yep, pretty much.
Taylor.
These people are behind him. He's got to feed off that energy and hopefully escape here as the War Wrestling Respect and War Wrestling Champion.
The interesting part of this is really the first time that Beach has gotten to a point as the guest referee that he's really kind of applied a rule. All three men laying in the middle of the ring, and he was up to 5. Short clotheslines, knocking it down to Brandon Edwards. Taylor now looking for the super kick, got it. Not high and in the face, but right across the chest to send down the Respect champion in Brandon Edwards. Defeated knife edge chops, and that's effective. Just forearms to the face, not flashy. Taylor looking to go for that gut buster. Oh, he got the running knee. Usually the prelude to what he likes to finish off. Right to the back of the head. New champion, 1-2. And again, Jake Something able to get out, but there's the Koji clutch.
This is it. Oh, the numbers game.
Beach is, you can feel the fans here rooting on Matt Taylor, but you can kind of see Brian Beach rather. When Brandon Edwards made that save, kind of like, man, I want to see him get this. And drop kick in the corner. Something looking to go,
discus lariat.
Thought he was going to go with like an elbow first, but he just beheaded Taylor. And nobody more shocked Then Brandon Edwards on that 2 count. Beach, this time he had to put up 2 fingers, given the salute that he gave earlier on.
Matt needs to stay in this. He needs to use that resiliency that he's used for so many years to hopefully come out on top here.
Dark Star shot off into the corner, now trying to round it right into the face. Wow, it's nice when you have the ability to kick both guys on the way by, and
I've seen Taylor win matches with that. This is it.
Double stomp. Jake fell out of the ring. Oh, and Ripper right there to help out.
It's not even 1-on-2, it's 1-on-4 with Ripper and Mannix out there.
Beach says, I'm sorry. There's nothing I can do. He had his foot on the rope. And bad things are going to happen to Ripper Blackheart in the future, I hope. Brandon Edwards.
Watch out, Matt. Edwards is behind you.
Goes for the roll-up. Taylor rolls through and goes right back to the Koji clutch of the ring. Jake Something nowhere to be found. What if he taps out and... Oh, come on.
Oh, no, come on.
Not
this
the
is
chair.
too much.
The chair right into the center of the back, and then, of course, the tap out. Matt Taylor should be champion right now.
And there's Austin Mannix getting involved.
Mannix fighting the referee. Out goes Beach. Nothing.
That's a War Wrestling Hall of Famer.
The bell rang. Beach didn't call for the stop of the match. So a shame the Dirty screwing a big ending to this show up. Beach is fighting in the crowd. Jake Something's looking to set up Matt Taylor. He's got a chair in hand, and the Dark Star's not going to want to turn around. Right to the gut, and down goes Matt Taylor, and he throws a chair at him for good measure, but look at these goons. Edwards and Mannix.
Nobody can stop the Dirty. There's 4 of them.
And Jake Something's got a pair of chairs. What?
Beach isn't even an active competitor anymore. Matt Taylor's gone through hell here.
Taylor now. They've got it. What do they have in mind here with all these chairs?
They're just piling chairs on top of them?
The last time this happened, it was in Philadelphia. They're literally just throwing chairs on top of Matt Taylor. What in the hell is happening?
Matt could get seriously hurt right here.
Ripper walking out with all the titles. And the Dirty, I guess if you can't beat him, bury him. Nobody coming to the aid of Matt Taylor. Beach has found his way back, and he has a chair in hand.
But what's he going to do? There's 3 of them.
Well, the problem is they have about 23 chairs. Oh,
come on.
Now Beach never wanted to back down from a fight. Maybe not the smartest thing he's ever done, but he's not going to back down anyways. And he's thrown right back out by the champ, and they continue to just beat the hell out of Matt Taylor.
This is sick.
What? What? What a terrible end to this show. The Dirty stands tall, and they're not even at full strength. That's the scary thing. Love them or hate them, it's a tight group that's effective because they stick together behind the guy you see on the camera now, Ripper Blackheart.
I'm speechless. I wish I could help, but my knee's busted up with mojo.
Jake Something will go into November, still the War Wrestling Champion.
Now
as
Ripper
we get
gets a piece of beat.
to November Reign on the 4th of November, 407 days from tonight and counting. He has been the champ, and the Dirty rides on to end Blood, Sweat, and Fears 5.